This is my brand new used RX 5700 XT. I found this locally for just 140 Canadian dollars, which is about 100 US dollars, give or take. I actually picked this up because I'm going to be doing a full GPU testing series where I'm going to be testing a lot of different GPUs, old and new. This is one that I wanted to pick up. I was told that this 5700 XT has that kind of AMD fine wine where it ages really, really well, and it actually performs incredibly well in modern times, 2023, 2024. So I'm going to throw a bunch of really demanding games at it, 4K, 1440p, and 1080p, and we'll see how this thing performs. Despite the fact that it's a few years old, I suspect it's going to perform quite well. Okay, and here we are in Cyberpunk. We are at 1440p Ultra native. Let's come over. This guy's straight up in underwear. We'll come over here. This is the very demanding area here. So yeah, 1440p Ultra. Looks like in these really demanding areas, you're going to get about 38 to 40. That's a very tough area there. Yeah, quite a big jump there. So you're ranging between 35, 40 up to around 50 or so. A little bit better performance, but not, staggering. I think we're going to need to drop down to medium to get, closer to 60. Yeah, that's a big jump there. So medium quality FSR on medium. You can just play medium natively, no problems. But, if you want to get high frame rates, you just throw on even just quality FSR, and it's very playable now. This is probably how I play, just to maintain those high frame rates. So 1080p Ultra, no scaling. Yeah, so you can, if you have a 1080p screen, you can just max the game. There's no need for FSR. You're actually going to get pretty good frame rates here. Really good performance here. Because I have a 4K screen, this 5700X, 5700 XT, I would be playing at 4K rather than down-resing. And what I would do is just throw on more FSR. Because this actually looks quite crisp. Okay, Witcher 3 now. Man, look at that performance. I guess they optimize these drivers like crazy. Look at that. Holy smokes. I did not anticipate this to run this well at 4K. Not by a mile. I thought it was going to be like a slideshow. This is shockingly good performance, as you can hear in my voice. Yeah, and quality is getting us almost to 60. Yeah, just put it like this. I would put a little bit on 4K, just on a little bit of FSR. Yeah, this is running so well. Okay, let's try balance, just for people who do want to be above 60. Okay, well, that runs amazing. People have been telling me that the 5700 XT ages like fine wine. And, I mean, I know AMD stuff does, but I didn't anticipate to run this well. It's obviously going to run incredibly well. Yeah, 1440p Ultra, just native, just let it rip. This game's been out, this is a fairly old game, but this thing can chew up GPUs easily. Easily chew up GPUs. And I think that might be something to do with bandwidth. But yeah, I mean, this 5700 XT has aged with the game, basically. So clearly AMD has been putting out drivers as the card has aged and as the game has come along. So okay, so 4K medium here, we're looking at about 30. Actually, so it is playable. It's like console playable, 4K 30 apparently. I didn't anticipate it would run this well, but the drivers are extremely matured, right? So yeah, actually a big jump in performance. All right, well, that may be the way to go, actually. This game doesn't need to be played at 60 at all. It's a fairly slow-paced game. At 4K, you know, this is probably pretty good. I'd probably just turn it up by one, put it to medium, but put it to balanced. But you'll notice that when I'm at higher resolutions, I'm more willing to use higher amounts of FSR. When you're at a lower resolution, you know, using really high amounts of FSR can be kind of gross. But at high resolutions, it's fine. Do I have VSync on here? Oh, there it goes. Yeah, so performance, again, if you want to be way above 60, sure. I mean, you can throw it on 4K medium and just throw it on performance mode, and then you'll, in the worst cases, be, you know, right around 60. And the lows are so good that if, you know, there's a lot going on, it's not going to make a big difference. Yeah, it's running as well as 4K with performance FSR. So if you have a 1440p screen, I think you can actually just throw it on medium and just have at it. Yeah, so it's up to you if you want to use it. If you're at 1440p, quality FSR is still going to look good. You're not going to even tell it's on. And you know, now your frame rate is way up. So yeah, it's proving that the 5700 XT is 4K. You can play on a 4K screen in these very demanding modern games. Usually a little bit of scaling, but I mean, for 1440p gaming, it's still like an actual powerhouse. Like, we might actually get good performance here. Yeah, 4K medium. Look at, holy smokes. Yeah, okay, it's running really well. Again, memory bus, right? Memory bandwidth on lower end cards, even if they have a lot of raw power, if the memory bandwidth sucks, Hogwarts will chew those cards up. I find a lot of this on laptop GPUs, right? If you don't have good memory bandwidth, Hogwarts will just devour that game. And here, it's a little bit of an older card, doesn't have as much raw power, but it has good memory bandwidth, and there's no struggle. Look at that. Rock solid. Yeah, 4K medium with just the quality FSR. Look at that performance. Wow. I'm actually, this one is even more shocking than the other ones. It makes sense though because of the memory bandwidth, as I said. It's running very well. High presets with quality FSR, and still we're close to 60 with good lows. Dang. Yeah, this is running like an actual champion. This is running very well. So now we're on performance FSR on that ultra preset. And it's running fine. But honestly, this is running about the same as high with quality. And this is ultra with balanced, with performance FSR. So personally, I'd say lower the settings by 1 and just, you know, then you can turn the FSR way down. Okay, now we're at 1440p ultra. Yeah, see that little dip there? It seems like when you're at ultra, it makes the lows go down a little bit, whereas highs doesn't. But that might have just been some pop-in or something due to resolution change and settings change. Let's actually reset that just to be sure. Usually when you change settings, you should give it a sec because there'll be a little bit of changes to the textures. Okay, now it's running fine. Yeah, so 1440p ultra is just good, I guess. Okay, so Starfield 4K medium, native. All right, so you're gonna get like Xbox Series X and PS5 tier performance. So FSR 2 at 75. And yeah, this is much more playable, which is what I would do at 4K. You can play the game at 30, but I mean, there's a big jump between 30 and 40 in terms of playability. It's so much smoother when you're at 40. See where we're at here. Yeah, with turning that scaling. Actually still looks pretty good, to be honest. And now we're getting very high frame rates. Okay, so 1440p medium native. And, you know, for this game, 1440p is probably going to be the sweet spot because, I mean, we're getting 50-ish on just native now, on medium. Again, this game's very playable at 50, as long as the lows are good, which they are, you can see there. It's just a demanding title. Yeah, so 1440p medium with 75% FSR, and you're going to get your 60. It'll go down in the most demanding scenes. It'll go up in easier scenes. You know, if you're indoors, you'll be getting probably closer to this, like 70. When you're out in extremely demanding urban areas, it's going to go down, but it's definitely playable. So 1080p ultra native. Yeah, so 1080p ultra native will give you that kind of, again, that kind of balanced-ish mode between 60 and 30. Honestly, if I had a 1080p screen, I would probably just max it and play like this. It's going to be fine. You could turn it on high or something. I wouldn't play with FSR at this resolution. Okay, now we're in Baldur's Gate. And 4K medium. We're indoors here in an area I will not disclose. There's a spoiler. Very late in the game. Now we're in a very demanding area. Yeah, this game is brutal. And it's not that it's poorly optimized, there's just a lot going on. So 4K medium is a bit rough. This game will devour GPUs. Still might get some dips here and there, but yeah, big jump there. So 4K medium with quality FSR, and you got your 60. It'll dip down when you're casting spells and blah, blah, blah. But this is very good performance here, actually. Actually, it's really good performance, to be honest. This game is quite hard to run. Yeah, it's too much. Again, game's not easy to run. A little bit tough here. See what that gets us. Yeah, 1440p Ultra with quality is running quite well. Yeah, really good performance there. Yeah, so long story short, it's very playable. I play this game at like 45 to 50 FPS. Doesn't matter to me. It's a turn-based strategy in combat, and when you're running around, like, it doesn't really make a big difference there, even if you zoom in, right? And there we go. That's the performance of this card here. It was actually shocking. Like, I know AMD fine wine is a thing, and I know that, you know, some of the older generation AMD cards can really hold up over time when you move into, you know, more modern. Years later, they still perform extremely well. But I didn't anticipate this would run that well. I mean, it's a 70 series, 5700 XT. It's a few years old now at this point, and it's handling 4K reasonable settings in some of the most demanding games. I mean, throw on some FSR and you're good to go. And it's a champ at 1440p. 1080p is basically trivial to the card. 1440p, you can throw some of the most demanding titles on it with, you know, actually very respectable settings, and it really does actually push great frames. And considering you can probably pick these things up for, you know, relatively nothing. Like, I'm talking about $100 US for something like this used. I see them all the time locally where I am. So, I mean, if you're looking for a good 1440p card, I mean, why spend 3-4 times as much?